Hey, we're not in the workshop today. We're actually in my office, and believe it or not, this is the cleanest it's looked in about 5 years. And the reason for that is we're going to be installing a very interesting piece of equipment here soon. To backtrack a little bit though, I get contacted every day by companies saying, hey, do a video on our product and we'll give you one for free. And I turn them down left, right, right, left, right, left. I only want to use stuff that I have tested, that I believe in, and actually does something I need it to do. Other than that, I just ignore all that stuff. Well, I actually have a need for a CO2 laser. I've been using a fiber laser in my office for the last several years, and it's great, but it's just not very efficient. So xTool, a really cool company that makes some high quality laser systems, contacted me about their new P2 55 watt CO2 laser. I researched it, I looked at it, and it's a really good product, and it does some things that I think that not only people who do laser work find interesting, but those of us who are wood turners and woodworkers will find really interesting. Super cool stuff. So anyway, they said, we'll send you one if you do some videos. So actually, I took their offer this time because I think it looks like a good product. If I have problems with it, I'll let you know. If I have good points to it, I'll let you know. If it works for me, I'll let you know. But the first thing we have to do before I let you know anything is we have to go out and unpack this sucker. And I'm going to need a lot of help. Okay, so my handy helper Dooley here gonna help me unpack this thing. Now, one warning, today is trash day, so he might disappear really quickly to go let the trash men know that they shouldn't be stealing stuff from us. Oh, forgot to tell you, this is going to be kind of interesting because when this was delivered, the delivery guy, he had opened up the back of the truck. This was upside down, and I was going to help him carry it out. But he said, no, I got it, and he rolled it end over end out of the truck, and then we got to the house. So this is going to be a good test of the packaging also. Okay, here we go.
It's like a box of chocolates.
It didn't work so good, did it? Did I mention that this is 100 and something pounds? Yeah.
How you like that?
Yeah. Ooh, trash man. Trash man. So you give those trash men what for? Big old boy. Yeah, you kept the house safe, didn't you? You did good. Okay, we're gonna open this box now, okay? This is the riser system, which I think is really exciting because it's gonna allow me to put taller items underneath the laser. And with being a wood turner, my bowls and things are kind of tall sometimes. Anyway, we'll open this up. This is a lot lighter than the other box. But man, the quality of packaging so far has been really impressive. And when you're shipping something as delicate as a laser, you have to really watch your packaging, and they've done a good job on that. So you can see our second inspector is here. This is our cat, Leave It. He adopted us a while back, and after telling Dooley a month or two of Leave It, the name kind of stuck. Anywho, I'm looking at this. There's a great instruction manual here. I'm going to read that in a second off camera. A couple things in here that I noticed. There's some foam-like tape. I'm pretty sure that's for sealing things. The other thing I noticed in here is here's the little bag of screws and stuff. But the neat thing is they provide you with your own screwdriver. That's pretty slick. A lot of places give you some really crappy Allen wrenches and things like that to put the stuff together. Anywho, I'm going to read the instructions. I'm going to unpack all this, make sure I have all the parts, and then put it together. They put finger holes in here for every piece that you're pulling out, which is just awesome. The thinking behind that, I'm sorry. Oh, by the way, it's made of metal. But the thinking that goes behind something like that tells you that these people are really paying attention to all the details, which to me is really important. Hope I can find that. So I've been reading through the instructions, and it's all pretty visual. I think that's self-explanatory. Being dyslexic, and that means I can't do instructions well, sometimes when I look at pieces, they flip in my head. if there were little stickers on here, it said like left panel, front, right, that would help me a lot. Be kind of like IKEA furniture at that point. But anyway, the only other thing is there are two types of screws in here, flathead, and then they have barrel head. So as long as you don't interchange these and screw them up, you should be okay. So, left side I'm working on right now. Gonna start the side panel and just keep plowing forward. I'll do this in fast motion so it won't bore you, but if I run into something, I'll stop it and talk about it. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to take this moment to say one thing I'm super impressed with is the build quality on all the metal. Everything fits perfectly. The machining is great. That's the type of stuff I just love. That's why this is more of a how to put it together rather than just unpacking, because I think a lot of people when they get to putting these things together kind of go, whoop. So anyway, I'm trying to figure out which is the front and which is the back here. And it says front door panel, rear door panel. Front door panel is slightly wider than the rear one. Okay. Slightly wider. Oh, taller, I think is what they mean. Okay. So this is taller. I'm assuming this is going to go here. I'm going to put these holes here, and we're going to continue assembling. Another one of those small things. What's really cool is the screws don't drop out of the screwdriver. That's gold right there. Can't tell you how many bad words you would have learned by now if I was having problems with that. So this last piece is pretty important. What this does is it squares up the entire base, which makes your life a lot easier when you're putting 100-pound laser on top of it. So I have a lift table here that's going to help me get this thing up, I hope, because it's big. Okay, that's as high as it goes. That's going to be fun. Leverage is everything. Supposed to lift from the ends, by the way, because there's little gaps here for your hands. Don't get them caught in there. Just like it's meant to be there. Cool. Well, I had a little time to take some ibuprofen and have some lunch. And in the meantime, the cat came through here and left footprints everywhere. Oh, well, joy of working out of your home. This is obviously not the normal influencer setup. There's a lot of work going on in this little 10x10 room. So we'll take this off. Cool beans. We have instructions and a quick start guide. Looks like we have plywood, several pieces that we can play with. Looks like more cardboard, which is great for prototyping stuff with. We have a funnel. I think I already know what that's for. We have power cord, another screwdriver, that's cool, and some little accoutrements in there we might need. A short USB cable. And I think these are extra screws. Put this off to the side. So what do we have here? Okay, this comes off. Aha! It's like secret compartments. Oh, now I found it. Here's the antifreeze. Got a big old glug bottle. So you have a certain mix you put in there depending upon where you're going to be using your system. Since this is out of my house, I don't have to worry about it being too cold. And this is the hose that's going to go to the smoke collector that I've got, along with a clamp, I guess. So we've got, these are the little removable what would you call these, slats that you work on. So some of them moved during shipment. I have a feeling it happened when Mr. Delivery driver was turning things upside down. Okay, so I've got that piece of styrofoam out from back here because you can actually move this by hand. And they say to check this just to make sure things are moving. If they're not, call the company really quick. I have to get this bottom tray out of here, and they put in a securing screw right here. So it's a Phillips. First one we run into in this whole process. So now let's see if we can slide this out. Oh, much easier. Gonna get this out. There's a piece of plexi, or acrylic, sorry. And bring this out. Okay. Take the styrofoam out, and then we'll slide this back in. So, according to the instructions, I think I've already done this, but you need to see if this all moves. If that moves, that's great. Now, I did not see anywhere in the instructions anything about removing this, although it says remove it, so we're going to remove it. I'll probably find it later down the line. Oh, cool. That is a magnetic cover for the mechanism in there. So I can do this one-handed here. Nice to know things are made of metal. Oh, goes right back on. That's pretty cool. The one that is in the instructions, it says to remove this. And why is that? Because this is keeping the emergency lock from clicking in right now. You want this to be able to activate, though, when you are using the laser, because you don't want that lid opening in case anybody's around. So now you just simply come back here, and it says to unlock this. So that's pushed in, and you want to pull it out to where it's active. So the next step is that we want to inspect the laser tube and put the antifreeze in. So we have to remove a bunch of screws from the interior. Remember when I mentioned I wanted little labels to find the parts? At least here they got little signs that say remove the screws. That's very helpful. Now the next thing I need to do is inspect the tube to see if there are any cracks. Everything looks great. I'm very happy about that. Man, they said there'd be no math. So, this is in Celsius. It's also milliliters. So after a little bit of ciphering, I figured out we don't need any antifreeze because it's in the house and it's never going to get below 32 degrees. So I've taken off the cap here, and that's the reservoir, and there's your funnel. Now this is really important. I read through the instructions, kind of went, huh? And made sense after I did it. But anyway, I want to carefully put in 1,100 milliliters of water. And practice this at the sink if you want to. But what this does is this fills the reservoir. But it doesn't completely fill it because this is like a radiator. So it has to circulate the water. So if you put in exactly as much water as you need, it's going to flood out because it's not circulated through the system. So this is the first filling of 1,100 milliliters. Okay, now we're going to turn it on to circulate the water. Okay, hear a little bit of a gurgle. Not exciting, but water level has dropped a little bit. So it's pumping and circulating the water. Now we need to put in the remainder, the 300 milliliters, to finish it off. Now I didn't want to forget this. One of the things that xTool sent me was their air purification system. It's really cool. Comes with a hose, comes with clamps, comes with adapters to go into here. If you're using a smaller hose, it has a step down. And guess what? More screwdrivers! All right. Normally I've been venting out through my window with a little tiny blower. Really crazy thing to do. You can't keep any air conditioning going in the house. It's terrible. This thing can work without a vent. But, by the way, they do give you a little port on here you can put on here and vent outside if you want to. So it comes with a pre-filter here, which is pretty nice. Then it comes with a HEPA filter, and it is thick. I mean, this is industrial size. That is really cool. And then this is the wildest thing. This is heavy. This is charcoal filtration. You can hear it moving around in there. So this helps make the air smell better as it comes out. That's the max setting right there. That's decent. That is blowing a lot of air. You only got one set of lungs. You better take care of them. Well, good morning. It's another day. My wife came in and said, "You look tired." So I believe her, and so I took a nap. So it's the next day now. So the next step that I had to do with the xTool was to hook up the USB. Really difficult, huh? And then I have the power on. Also, if you can hear in the background, probably not, it's not too loud, I have my air filtration system going. Why? Because the next step you have to do with your xTool is to see if your laser shifted at all during shipment. So sometimes the beam will get a little bit off. Now xTool on their website has an excellent video on how to do this. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description so you can click on that and see how to align your laser. In my case, my laser was a little bit off, and so I was doing the adjustments, but the thing was is that you get this one little bag of accessories, and I think they're clamps that hold work down onto the xTool deck there. In it is the little tiny Allen that you need to be able to loosen the set screws over here on the mirror system, so then you can adjust the adjustment screws. Now in my case, when I went to adjust this, the little screw stripped out, so you have to be very, very careful. It did not affect the ability, though, to move the set screw. I had a little bit of wiggle room there. The other thing is that they tell you to put masking tape up there. Well, make sure you have good masking tape, because I don't know what cheap crap I got, but it went right through and made a big dot. So what I had to do is I had to double up the paper. Let me hit pulse here. Okay, and by doubling up a paper, I was able to get a smaller dot that I was able to see much better. So that helped me figure out where I was in my alignment. Now, the other thing too is there's a hole here. Whoops, didn't get all the paper off. There's a hole right here, and if you take your finger, when you put the tape on and rub it, you'll get the edge of the hole. That way, when you see the dot, you're gonna know where you are on the center of that dot. So now that we've got the laser aligned, let's start burning some things. So I opened up the software on the xTool P2, and it's really good stuff. I just imported an image right away and had no problems. I was etching on the cardboard that they provided right away, and it turned out really well. Then it was kind of fun because I went to the basswood board that they provided, and it is amazing what it did on there. The etching was incredible. It really looks good, and it came out well. There were presets in there already for this, and there's several presets for several materials, so that was quick and easy to do. I didn't have to think about it much. Then I thought, well, let's go have some more fun. Let's do some cutting, and I had it cut out a shape of a leaf. Now, they provide shapes also in the software, which was great, so I thought this one had the most detail. And it is tiny, and the detail on this is extremely good. I was amazed with that. You can tell from the video too that a lot of smoke came out during this process, and the air extraction worked out beautifully. It got all the fumes out. It went into my air filter system that they provided. Can't even smell the wood burning smell anywhere in the room or in the house. That is fantastic, and I don't even have it vented outside. So that's an A+ in my book. Now, we'll get into more details on how to work the software in the next two videos I'm going to do, because those will show you how I'm going to use the xTool P2 in my business and in my hobbies. So until the next time, on my channel I usually say keep turning, but this time keep burning.